안녕하세요, 레이나입니다. 오늘은 미셸 쌤이 아니라 스테파니를 데려왔는데요. So, could you let us know yourself?
My name is Stephanie. I'm originally from El Salvador, so Central America, but I grew up in the United States. So I went to elementary school, middle school, high school, and nursing school here. I started out as Med-surg for 3 years, and I've been in the ER for 5 years.
Ooh, so you're a skilled nurse. So, 그래서 오늘 이제 스테파니를 데려온 이유는 저희가 저도 이제 2년 동안 에이전시를 끝냈고 그리고 요즘 저희 동네에 많은 한국 선생님들이 오고 계세요. 그래가지고 문득 이런 생각이 들더라고요. 저는 한국 선생님들이 어디서 고충을 느끼고 어떤 게 힘든지가 이해가 되고 공감이 되는데 미국에 계신 선생님들은 어떤 느낌이 들까? 이게 좀 궁금해가지고 되게 그냥 심플하고 간단하게 질문을 해볼까 해가지고 스테파니를 데려오게 됐고 스테파니가 그 한국쌤들이랑 3명이랑 일했어요. 근 2년간. 그래서 왠지 스테파니가 적격일 것 같다는 생각이 들어가지고 데려왔고요. 그래서 오늘 좀 간단하게 인터뷰를 해보겠습니다. So English time.
It's okay.
So I'm going to ask you like several questions regarding Korean nurses because you've been working with Korean nurses for 2 years and you have like several Korean friends too. Mm-hmm. So first of all, did you know like there's many Korean nurses working in America and also like there's so many Korean nurses who are interested in working in America?
So I'm from Virginia, and there I did work with Korean American. Mm. What I didn't know was there was so many agency nurses coming from Korea. So I didn't learn that until I came here. And that's when I started finding out there's a lot of foreign nurses that are coming to the U.S. So that at first I didn't know. Mm. For the last 2 years I've been down here in Georgia, I have seen a lot more come in, and to be honest, probably more are going to be let in because the nursing shortage in the U.S. is so much that the education system here can't keep up with who's going to be retiring, as well as how sick the patients are here. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that have multiple comorbidities. So they're not only diabetic, they have heart failure, diabetes, and hypertension, and there's a lot of those. And because of the baby boom in the 1950s, we have a lot of elderly patients in the 80s and 70s that have a lot of chronic conditions, and also in the nursing home. So I think a lot more foreign nurses are going to be introduced into the healthcare system in the United States. Yeah.
Okay. And second question, you could just say simple. Could you guess why Korean nurses are interested in working in America?
Probably the one thing I could think of is the culture. Because America, I think we export a culture a lot, whether it's makeup, celebrities, music, TV, and just kind of how it is here. And we're also a really big country. Mm-hmm. So wherever you go or whatever state, it'll be completely different from another state. So that's, I guess, one of my guesses is just kind of the culture here that's exported around the world and what you see how America can be like.
Yeah, that's true. It could be one of the reasons, because for me, I just wanted to experience.
Yeah, I was about to ask
you,
why did you
come here? Well, when I have a job interview, I would say I wanted to experience different culture, because in Korea and America has totally different healthcare system, and I wanted to experience that difference.
The healthcare.
Yeah, and also there still have for elderly, even it's not that that old people, but they still have a concept nurses are just helping doctor. So they don't.
Oh, in Korea?
Yeah, they don't respect nurses as a professional job.
Oh, so that's why you went. Okay.
And that thing is really sad because even I work hard, I can't fix them. So
they definitely do. I feel like they do respect you more, and they do take your input, because even in Med-surg, when we did kind of huddle with the case manager and the doc, they would listen out to you oh, this is what I think my patient needs, and then in the ER also, I mean, I've been there 5 years, but the doctors kind of know, oh yeah, she knows the patient needs this. So I didn't know that it wasn't seen as.
Yeah, I feel like in ER, they're more like families. Aren't they? Like, I felt like doctors and nurses are just working like a really good friends.
I think maybe because they're so close. Like, I just have to walk up to them and say, hey, this is what's happening. I need this. Or like, how are you? But when you're on the floor, it's mainly like phone call or message, and they only come when it's a disaster or something happening. But I could see that. Well, in the ICU too, the docs are there. You're easier to talk to them.
Yeah, it's easy to contact them. It's not easy to have a conversation. Well, so for third one, as you already work with like many Korean nurses, what is your like overall impression of Korean nurses as a nurse?
They're all been different because I can't speak general because each individual is different. But I mean, anybody that comes off orientation is going to be, I was worried. I already had ER experience, but I was in a new hospital. So I was worried like, oh, am I going to be good? I don't know where stuff is. Two things. One, professional. The human body is the same no matter wherever in the world you are. So be confident in the fact that you're a nurse. The lungs work the same no matter what country you're in. The heart works the same. And blood work, lab values, if they're off, it's going to be like your potassium, if it's 5.8 or 6, it's high no matter what country you're in. It doesn't. So to be confident in the skills that you have, even though the language isn't there or the way to express yourself isn't there. But if you see something's wrong with your patient or you need help, I would say be more expressive or find somebody that you trust or your preceptor and say, hey, this is what's wrong, or can you double check, or I'm concerned. So with one thing, like I said, every individual is different, but I've noticed like coming off orientation, being like timid is kind of there, but they already know that something is wrong. They just need to say it like, oh, the hemoglobin is low. I don't know how to tell doctor. I'm like, just go tell doctor. Just go tell him, or just go tell somebody. Because like I said, the body is the same no matter what country you are in the world. I mean, it may look different, it may color different, it may sound different, but the insides are still the same. And you already know that from the experience of whatever unit you're going to be coming from. So from professional side, it's that just be confident in the skills you already have. The language and knowing how to use the different, I guess the things that we use, like the monitors from the US, it will come with time. But you already know the body. Like you already know how to address. From social, because the US is so diverse, and there's a lot of people from cultures, different countries, different languages, I would say open yourself up to that. Yes, find your group of Koreans that you feel comfortable with and like get a sense of home if you're feeling homesick, but definitely open up to hanging out or talking to other people, because it's the US and you came to experience the culture in the country. So go try out food you never tasted, because then you see what your patients are kind of like living in the community. You see where they go walking. Do they have a place to go walking? Is there a park? What type of neighborhoods are they living in? Because there's so many different people. They talk different. Their mannerisms are different. Because even the difference from Virginia to Georgia, the South to the North, there's a lot of like the food is different, how people talk, what's important to them here, just the values as well.
I think that could be a really good answer for my next question. It was like your overall impression for like Korean nurses as a friend. So maybe that could be a really good answer too.
Yeah, I've gotten along with them because, as you know, as a nurse, our struggles are the same. Our struggles and stresses are very similar no matter what unit you're in. There's always there could be mean patients or mean staff members, or like, oh, I had this really critical patient. So as friends, we're all nurses. And like I said, the body is the same. And no matter what unit you're on, you always kind of have similar difficulties. So I found them, they're easy to talk to. And I'm open to learning about different things. So I've learned a lot from them too. And also it gives me the opportunity to learn about a different healthcare system, because all I've ever known is the US healthcare system. So then I get to find out how people are taken care of over there, and different comorbidities that we don't see here. Like, I don't see tuberculosis a lot, and like some of the Korean nurses I've met, they've taken care of people that have had TB. So.
Yeah. And like, is there anything like you realize there's a unique point of like only the Korean nurses have? Like, as a friend?
I
Not
have to
really?
think about that.
Really?
Yeah, no. Like, only that they do?
Dude.
Like, that was different. So I've hung out with Korean Americans before, but kind of, I guess, shock to me is the communal eating. I was not used to, I didn't get my own plate. Everybody just kind of grabs from the main plate. So I guess that's one of the, right now, as an example right now that stands out, that I was like, oh, they're all.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not the one, I'm not really the one like who wants to share. So actually, I'm not used to that thing too.
Oh, really?
Even I'm Korean. Yeah. And one of the things I just realized when I was asking the question was like, even I'm your friend, but like all of the other your Korean friends, don't they eat small?
Oh, like small portions?
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't look small because there's so much food on the table. But yeah, I guess Koreans in general, the diet is healthier, I guess, than America. There's not as many starches. There's not as many like bread or starch or sugars. But yeah, the portions that they eat are smaller. But I guess that's a characteristic.
Well, we're the only two gain more than 10 pounds.
Oh, no, listen, you probably will gain weight while you're here. Because like I said, if you open yourself up to the culture and, you're hanging out with people, you're going to people's houses, you're going to parties, you're going to be eating all the time. So here it's not seen as bad that you gain weight. It's not unhealthy. It's okay. It happens. You're having fun. You're eating and trying different foods. But it did. And at first I thought it was because COVID, because everyone was bringing us food to the hospital, like cupcakes and sweets. But no, it's just, I was just partying and eating a lot.
I was blaming my thyroid, but it wasn't my thyroid.
But like I said, it's okay if you gain weight. It's stressful. You're going to parties. You're meeting people. It's okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it could be like a last question, kind of. So is there anything like other thing you want to tell Korean nurses who's preparing in Korea or who already came here, but like before starting work in America, is there anything you want to tell them?
One thing, so I had I did go through agency, and one thing I was really worried about was my interview at the embassy. I don't know if there's anybody out there that's worried about that interview. At least for me in the US, it was very casual. The interview is okay. That's like a small part. When you get over here, I mean, if you have some contacts that you already know in the area, I would definitely connect with them just to get yourself established. Ask like, oh, where can I go walking? Where can I go grocery shopping? But once you start working, just be confident in yourself. Like, you've been a nurse. The body is the same. The building and the materials are different, and that's okay. And if you don't understand not only like what they're saying in English, but what they are meaning, because I feel like the meaning is different. Like you've been saying, like the Korean way to say things is just ask. It's okay to ask. It's not going to look bad, or it's not going to look like you don't know what you're doing. You can just say, this is what this means to me. Is that what you're trying to tell me? So as they're preparing to come here, I would just go about your doing like your job just as a nurse. And then when you come here, know that you know the drugs, you know the medicines, you know the vitals, you know the lab values, and you know the body. What you're coming here to learn is just, again, be open that things can be done differently to get to the same endpoint. And that the tools and materials here that you have, they're different, but they're still the same. They're still trying to do the same endpoint to take care of the patient.
Okay. So this is a little bit like a personal last question. Okay. Like, well, you're from Virginia. Was it a challenge for you, like working in different state?
A little bit. Again, coming off orientation, you're kind of worried. Well, at least I was that, okay, I'm on my own now. What am I going to do? I already had 4 years experience in the ER, but you're still kind of like, the hospital's different. I don't know where anything is. I don't know anybody. But yeah, there was differences. I hadn't used Cardine for high blood pressure, IV drip. I hadn't used that before in Virginia because the people there, the high blood pressure was maybe like the 180s. In the South, 180s, 190s.
Even the numbers different?
The numbers were different.
Oh my God.
So depending on what state you go to, you're going to have different things because everybody has. So I'm just talking that one hospital. The highest blood pressure I saw was in the 180s, 190s. I come down here to the South. Some patients, it reads XXX because it's higher than 230.
Oh my God.
In the emergency room. So I had never experienced blood pressures that high.
My God.
And I hadn't used Cardine before.
I never seen XXX.
It's like 230.
Oh
230 over like 120.
Oh.
So, and then blood sugars, I've seen 1,000 before for glucose. I hadn't seen it multiple times. So I do see it more often. And you know, it's not always the patient's fault. Either they can't afford the insulin or they didn't know they had diabetes, or they did know and the education level is just not there. But I guess that's what I found a little bit difficult in going to the region, is just understanding I'm taking care of a different type of patient. And every one of them has different values, different struggles, or different ways that they manage.
Gotcha.
So for example, patient had just had a heart attack. And the family member, they're allowed to eat. They bring them McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
But they bring them a fish sandwich instead of a hamburger. It's still McDonald's. It's still, but to them, they're like, oh, but it's fish. It's not meat. So you just have to be open and to tell them like education and be like, oh, this is what they think is right. Let me educate, or let me give them. So that's what I found different too, is just kind of people think differently everywhere. Also here in the South, it wasn't difficult, but it was kind of took me aback a little bit. More people ask me what my culture, what my race is.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
More people ask me where I'm from, or if I'm like Indian, Vietnamese, French, or if I'm Filipino, than they did in Virginia. But I think in Virginia, I live close to like Northern Virginia. There's more diversity there. Here's not so much, but I mean, it's okay that they ask me. They're respectful. They're not rude.
Yeah.
But I got that question a lot more than I did over there.
I feel like it's coming from like real, like pure curiosity. But like what I heard from when I was in Korea was like, they don't even ask where did you graduated, like where did you come from, because that's rude question. But when I came here, they were asking like, where was your university? And I was like, why are you asking me? You might not even know. I feel here they ask you because they're nervous and they're trying to make conversation for small talk.
Small talk. You will have to do small talk in the U.S. I don't know how in Korea. Do you know small talk? Okay.
We don't talk at all inside an elevator. So I was I had to be used to like say hello inside an elevator. So I was like, do I have to shut up my mouth, or should I have to say hello like that?
To say it, yeah. And it's not seen as, they're not going to ask you super personal questions, but they are going to want to do small talk. And I feel it does come from being nervous. Because they don't know what you're doing. You're about to poke them with a needle, or they don't know what medicine you're giving them or to understand. So they do ask you about yourself. And I wouldn't take offense unless they are being offensive and the way that they're asking is rude, then yeah, definitely. But otherwise, no, it's just, they're just trying to get to know who's taking care of me.
Yeah, because it could be like, I was curious, like, is it also like a cultural shock to you, even you lived in America so long? Because in Korean, most of the Korean take NCLEX RN and New York board. So they usually go to the New York because they don't have to do endorsement process. And Korean loves cities, speaks cities.
Yeah.
So if you have New York license, like why not working in New York? So most of them go to the New York. But like people like me, why I came Georgia was like I wanted to work in bigger hospital, and like I wasn't admiring like big cities because I already lived in big cities and like, but I realized there are some difference working in here and there. So I was also curious, like as in like person who lived in here so long, but you still have like you can still feel that difference, right?
Yeah. So, and like I said, the U.S. is a really big country, so each part is different. I mean, like in Korea, if you go to one city, it's so different from another city. So, but yeah, even though I had been nursing here for a while, just coming to a different city, there's still stuff I didn't know and stuff I had to learn on the job. The only way, you can only prepare so much to come to the U.S., but really you're only going to start learning once you start working, and it's okay to not know things. Just ask, and again, don't be timid to say, hey, is this what you mean? Like, it's not going to seem rude if you ask somebody, like, because you can know the English, but maybe the meaning is different. So it's just ask either for help or what is going on. So
Okay. Well, thank you for all your answers.
Thank you for having me.
I was so touched, like, when I asked you, like, hey, Stephanie, I didn't tell you, but I have my own YouTube channel. And, like, I just wanted to do some interview with you because you already work with, like, Korean nurses. And I was just interested in, like, how do you feel about them and as a nurse and also as a friend. And you were like, yeah, if I have a chance, like, could be helpful, like, for international nurses, like, I would do it. Like, I was so, like, it was impressive.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, to help. Because, you're coming, I'm in awe of you guys because even though I lived here, I just moved a couple states, you guys are coming to a whole different country, different culture, different country. I mean, I don't know if most of you don't have any family here, and that's very brave and it's very impressive that you're willing to take the challenge in the first place and go on an adventure. So whatever way I could help to kind of ease you guys' way to come over here.
Well, thank you so much once
You're
more.
welcome. Bye.
Not yet.
She has more things to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, once more, I will speak in Korean also, but like, well, all the American is not thinking the same way as Stephanie, actually. Yeah. But I don't want to say this is only her opinion. There are so many people who will think same as her. But as you know, all the Koreans think different, like Americans think different. But I just wanted to give you like a chance, like listen and like have a chance to know like one of the like American nurses thinking, like how they're thinking. So I hope it was a meaningful interview.
I hope so too.
Okay, so now Korean time. Okay. 다시 한번 말씀드리지만 이게 스테파니의 의견이긴 하지만 이게 모든 미국인의 의견이 아니라는 거를 먼저 말씀드리고, 물론 똑같이 생각하는 미국 선생님들이 계실 수도 있겠지만 그냥 저는 이제 선생님들께서 이런 그 현지에서 한국 선생님들과 일하는 미국인 선생님들이 이런 생각을 하시는구나를 알게 될 수 있는 기회가 되었으면 좋겠다는 취지에서 이렇게 인터뷰를 하게 되었고요. 이쯤에서 인터뷰를 마치도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 오늘 하루도
스테이블하고
무사한 하루 되세요.
안녕.